Hello guys, welcome back to What If for the ninth installment of the series. I talk about shows that have what if there's a series that they've always wanted but never actually got. After three series, would have been a fourth, would have been would have been a second series after the very first one, but we never know. But it's all good basic question it does really. So in this installment we're looking at a sort of sequel spin-off, really, to a beloved sitcom from the 1990s, and what it would have been like, actually. It was originally considered back in the day, but it would never came to be, and it's Hooligan's Island. So this would have been the sequel spin-off to Bottom, which ran from 1991 to 1995, and it was created by Adrian Emerson and Rick Mail, the late Rick Mail. So this would have been based on the stage show they did back in 1997 called Hooligan's Island, Bottom Free Hooligan's Island, of course, and it would involve the surreal antics and violent antics of Eddie Hitler and Richie, really. So this would have been interesting. Let's go a bit of a backstory first, and I'll probably mention, because there's not much to it really, but there can be some interesting ideas follow on for it when I get to it, actually. So a bit of backstory. So Bottom. It's interesting actually with Bottom, really, because it's like a continuation of the double that Rick and Aid have done probably since university, actually, or since the comic strip in the late 70s, early 80s. Because you get Eddie and you get Richie and Eddie, which originates as the Dangerous Brothers they did actually at the beginning, and they've been doing that since again from the late 70s, early 80s. And they continue on with the Dangerous Brothers. I don't know if in the comic strip it ends with Mr. Joy Lives Next Door. That's something. Oh, that could be different names. I don't know, but there's sort of similar things, similar antics in there. Filthy Rich and Catflap, really. Even though I think Filthy Rich and Catflap is sort of the main thing that sort of started the whole thing with the Bottom thing. The theory is that you got Eddie and you got Richie, who's the sort of Z-list celebrity, of course, who's trying to get famous in television, light entertainment, really. And you got Eddie, who's his bodyguard and minder, really, who's just constantly punching him to death and everything else, constantly alcoholic and everything else. And you look at Bottom, and they're in the 30s. They're sort of down the luck, living in a flat somewhere in squalor, and really that sort of thing. The entertainment business is not fully working. Everything else. That's a theory that some people have, really. Bottom is the success, is the follow-up to Filthy Rich and Catflap, really. Not sure if it is, really. I don't know. There's some theories about that, Maybe. It's just because Rick and Age use the same characters and names, really. It's like, it's like a weird shared universe, there's different points to their life, so I don't know, really, but there we go. So Bottom was first broadcast in 1991 with the first series. Second series came out in 1992, and the third series didn't come until 1995. But in between those, actually, I think in between the second and third series and post Series 5, they did the live shows, which lasted until 2003. You had the first live show in 1993. Second show came out in 1995, just after the third series. The third live show, which was Hooligan's Island, in 1997. The fourth show, Anar's Odyssey, 2001. And the last one, 2003, Weapon Y-Grade Weapons 2, I think it's known as. That's the last one that they actually did, really. So they did all them, really. And since then, actually, that's the last bit of what we got from Rick and Aid as Richie and Eddie, really. Until August 2012. When Aid Emerson went on BBC Radio, they announced that there's going to be a sequel spin-off to Bottom called Hooligan's Island. So this was announced in August that he and Rick got together and decided to make this as a follow-up, really. So the return of Richie and Eddie in sort of in the 2010s, really. Stranded on a desert island, just them two, and violent and antics come along, really. And lunacy prevails. So that's where we come to Hooligan's Island. So this would have been in 2013, this would have been. And I'm not too sure what it would have been, actually. Would it have been like a one-off thing, like a one-off special, or would it have been a six-part series, a 6-episode series? We don't even know. Because there's not enough details on it, and on this thing. But I could probably say, maybe if it come back, it would have been a 6-episode series, 25 minutes, half an hour, really, broadcast on BBC Two, and starring Rick and Aid, of course, just them two really on their own, really, at that point. You know, them stranded on Desert Island, and they would probably include some of the plot points from the 97 stage show. Indeed, I probably think so. With Hooligan Island, the stage show, they did two acts. There's two different things, of course. So obviously, Richie and Eddie get stranded on a desert island. There's some antics involved. Eddie picking up a bird he found on the beach, like a new. He says like a new bird, and tricks Richie into thinking, "Oh, it's in my hammock. You can go and check." And he smooches. He goes to the hammock and goes full on. Really, it's full on smooching. And it turns out to be it turns to be an albatross washed on the shore. And obviously, Eddie knew about that. Really, he's just tricking Richie as ever. You've also got the thing of like involving Welsh cannibals and Keith Floyd getting cooked in a pot, which is funny as hell. It's really funny. So they'll probably do something like that. You know, they could probably do like a first episode involving maybe them two together. I think, or Welsh cannibals can be episode 2. I don't know, or later in the series. I'm not too sure. But the whole thing of them, Eddie gets poisoned. No, Richie gets poisoned. I'm trying to think of the top end because I've seen a bit. Richie gets poisoned and he ends up, and obviously they find like a Japanese bunker really, so they use that. And yeah, that could be just like, you know, the whole thing with the Welsh cannibals and Richie getting poisoned. That could just be one episode really involving that. The whole thing about Richie smooching an albatross in a hammock, like we saw with the first episode really. Then you got the Act 2, of course, which involves the French nuclear bomb, of course, which a bunch of Frenchmen in scuba gear pop up and do this, plant this bomb on the island. That would have been like maybe the final episode, really, at that point. You know, trying to design a nuclear bomb on this small island that they're stranded on. That would have been something, and yeah, and that could probably be the last episode ever, and Richie and Eddie get nuked. Really, at the end, that's the end of them. That's the end of Richard and Eddie, really. So that could have been it, actually. Maybe that's the intention, really. Who knows? I mean, if you're trying to adapt the stage show, that could probably be the idea, really. You know, but the thing is, if it's just going to be them two, are they going to feature other people as well? People like Lee Corns, who actually appeared in, you know, some stuff with Richard and Eddie, like Filthy Rich and Camp Flap, and also he played Dickhead in Bottom as well. Just a little sign of that. Lee Corns also voiced Grampus and Tux. Just let you know that. That's never been mentioned. That's never been mentioned on the channel yet. So it was quite. It's kind of thinking, like, oh yeah, he did that, didn't he? So a little fact on there. So yeah. Also Helen Lederer, she probably be there. She played the nurse in the first series. She played Natasha in the second series as well in that episode Digger. Yeah, so she probably, I don't know if she might return. Christopher Ryan and also, what's the character's name? He played Spudgun. You know, Spudgun and Dave Hedgehog. Would they actually return though? That's the thing, because they were so prominent characters in the series. Well, recurring characters in the series, really, because they only appeared in like maybe, you know, one episode of series or two episodes. No, actually 2 episodes of series, I think. Really, because I know they appeared in 2. They appeared in Doe and what's that one? Bollocks. I don't know. What's the Halloween? The Halloween one. I forgot what it's called now. Bollocks. I don't know. They appeared in there really. So it would have been natural that, you know, them two will return. Helen Ledger return. Lee Corns return. I'm not sure about but some other ones really that would probably turn up. Like, what do you think? I'm always trying to think. Maybe. Oh God. Also, maybe someone like Julie Swalia, who played a dickhead's niece, I think. Interestingly, she'd probably be maybe in there. I don't know. It's interesting. So that would have been interesting, really, and obviously that would have been one series. Really, it would have been successful. But here's the thing, though. Obviously, that was the 90s. That was sort of the thing. Would it have been acceptable in 2013? Would it been around? Because the whole comedy landscape had changed at that point, really. With Rick and Aid coming back, doing this one-off series on BBC Two in 2013, would it have worked? Would it have the same magic? Would it have the same lunacy and chaos and the brilliant fuck-ups that they did, really? You know, and that sort of thing. You know, would it have been the same, really? would it have worked? We don't know, really. It might have been successful, it might have not worked, because the comedy landscape at that point has changed. Usually it's to do with political board shows like Have I Got For News For You, Eddie and Cats. Obviously the new wave of comedians as well that followed. Obviously, it's changed a lot. Comedy's changed a lot significant now. Would it have worked? I don't know. It might have been like a one-off thing, as a one-off series, coming back for one thing, it would have been exciting. But that's all you might get, really. Interestingly, it's a shame that's it's never been full form, because obviously a year late. Well, actually, Aid mentioned, well, in August 2012 he mentioned that it was over the works. In October he announced the project's finished. He stepped up the project, focused on his music career with Bad Shepherds, really. Obviously, nothing else came for it, of course, and then Rick Mail sadly passed away in June 2014. So there we go. So we never actually got a bit of explanation, unless people probably asked Aid Emerson about it. Really, what was maybe the intended plans for it? Would it been, what was like the crux of it, really? But we're not too sure. So there we go. This is just me pondering really what that sort of thing is, really. So who knows? So obviously we cast in stories, be 6 episodes on BBC Two. What to expect from there, really. But hey ho, there we go. So that's all. That's what I can say about Hooligan's Island. So there we go. Or Bottom Hooligan's Island. I don't really know. How do you? I think Hooligan's Island is actually the title with the bottom slapped on, like we've guessed as Paradiso. Really. So it would have been like that. I'd probably say it's more towards Bottom, really, with Hooligan's Island than Guess That's Paradiso, really. I mean, you still have Richard, Eddie Hitler, of course. Then Richard Fwait or Twat, if you know. All people say to say, it pronounces Fwait, but it's spelled Twat in Paradiso. I'm not sure what Eddie's surname is. That one. It's probably like a long gibberish name, really. Then Hitler, Eddie Elizabeth Hitler. I think that's his full name. Well, there we go. So there we go, guys. Hooligan's Island. That's the 9th instalment of What If. There we go, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you for the next instalment.